So now we've looked at a range of different strategies, about 9 in total, that you can get started in property. The next stage really is looking at how you can go from 0 to 10 or from a couple of properties to 10. Now that doesn't have to be a portfolio of 10 properties, that could just be doing 10 deals. So if you're property sourcing, for example, getting up to 10 deals, or if you're flipping, for example, getting to a stage where you're buying and selling 10 properties. Now, if you're in a situation where you've got the funds to start off on day one and you can go out there and physically buy a portfolio or create your own portfolio or get to 10 properties, fantastic. Same as if you've got the situation where you've got large enough funds to pair that with some form of leverage. So you can use mortgage finance maybe, and that gives you the combined buying power to go out and fund a property portfolio or buy individual properties to create your own portfolio. That's great. The next stage effectively is looking at property strategies that really fit your end goals. So your lifestyle aims, your income aims, your asset aims in terms of the types of properties you want in that portfolio. Everything from the location of those properties to the tenant profile to the rental yields, all of those combined to see what that portfolio should look like. If, however, you don't have large enough funds to go out and get a portfolio on day one, you maybe need to build up to a portfolio and that could take a bit of time, then there's certain things you need to consider as to how that can kind of be achieved and what things you can need to put into place to grow that portfolio effectively. Now the main thing I'd say to consider to get to that portfolio scale is focus. You don't want to try all the different strategies at the same time and just kind of dabble in lots of different ones, because it will spread typically yourself too thin, both from a time and a resources perspective. It makes sense to focus ideally on 1 or 2 main strategies. Now ultimately, if you focus on one strategy, that's great. You're allowed to put all your time into that one strategy and grow. However, what we find very often with that is people tend to stagnate if they just focus on one primary strategy. It often works better where you can maybe combine 1 or 2 strategies together. What that allows you to do is combine those 2 strategies to really get some momentum and not stagnate in terms of getting stuck with the portfolio growth. So for example, if you were buying just say buy-to-lets and putting your money into those deals, eventually over time you would run out of whatever starting pot you had, and it'd be very difficult to try and take a step back and try and re-raise those funds, sometimes to go out and grow the portfolio again. Very often it makes sense to start with a bit of a plan on day one and say, right, what access to funds do we have? What types of methods of funds are we going to consider? And we'll go through that in a later video for you on what to kind of consider, what options there are, and then what strategies can combine to do that. And that might be a mix of 2 complementary strategies like buy-to-let and like flipping, or like HMOs and buy-to-let, or any other form of strategy kind of combination that really gives you the best of both worlds. It gives you the income and the lifestyle aims that you want to achieve, but it also allows you to have the cash flow to go out there and continue to fund the next couple of projects. One way to do this is a 2+1 strategy. So if you're combining 2 strategies, then I'd probably say to have some form of focus, a primary focus on one of those strategies and a secondary focus on the other strategy. And when I say 2+1, it'll be effectively 2 deals for one strategy and 1 deal for an additional strategy. So that could be a combination of buy-to-let and HMOs. So you might do 2 buy-to-lets first and then a HMO, or vice versa. And this ultimately comes down to how aggressive you want to be on your portfolio growth, and a whole range of other fundamentals and things will play into this. So access to finance, access to management, access to time in terms of what resources you want to put into the project as well. But a 2+1 strategy can be a great combination, mixed with using 2 other strategies that are complementary in one way, shape or form. Another way that 2+1 can work great is with flipping. So you could maybe buy 2 and sell 1 property if you want to be aggressive in your portfolio growth, or you could maybe sell 2 properties and keep 1 property if you want to increase your cash flow. So maybe you're starting with a smaller pot and you want to build up that deposit pot first to allow you to kind of get to a stage of scale over the longer term by selling some of those properties when you initially purchase them, refurbish them, add value, bring some money back into the pot. That should allow you then to continue your portfolio growth without stagnating. So if you were just to use your portfolio pot and just went out and brought buy-to-lets, you might get to a stage relatively quickly where you run out of funds and you then have to be a bit more creative about what financing you use. Whereas if on day one, if you look at it and you think about it as a holistic plan and say, right, where do I want to get to? So goal setting is very important in this, understanding what your long and short and medium term aims are, understanding what your cash flow aims are, what resources you have to start with, both from financial and time, and then trying to figure out which strategies can help you achieve that. and how to combine them. And this is where we say the 2+1 kind of combination can work really well in getting to that portfolio of 10 properties and getting to a portfolio of some form of scale. Also allows you to start bringing automation later into the kind of the consideration as well, because you have a very fixed and strict criteria on what type of deals you want to buy. You know what strategies you're using, you know what areas you're doing that location or those strategies in, so it allows you to bring some form of scalability and automation as well to those property portfolios. I hope that helps, and any questions at all, don't hesitate to ask.